What's up everybody, I'm Grant Burton. This is my Twitch channel. I am streaming The Last Guardian today, and boy do I have a lot of topics to talk about this week. Let me just get into the settings first. So, if you've been living under a rock, there was a big Disney investors meeting, I think it was called. They announced a bunch of new stuff, a lot of new Star Wars stuff, a lot of new Marvel stuff, and a bunch of other stuff that's just Disney related. So we've got plenty to talk about today. But I'm also going to be playing The Last Guardian. This is a game I've not played before. I have played Shadow of the Colossus though, and not a huge fan of that. I think the story is fine, the characters are fine. Graphically it's gorgeous, but the camera and the controls I just thought were appalling. Hopefully this one's a little different, but from what I've heard of this game, which I've never played before, I'm not expecting it to be too different. But we'll see, I might be surprised. And I am playing this on the PS5, so hopefully that's giving it some sort of boost. I don't know what the technical specs are for this game in general. If you've watched my weekly streams in the past few weeks, you'll have noticed I've been playing Days Gone. Well, I'm not playing that today. One of the reasons is because the game just never really clicked with me. I didn't dislike it, but I couldn't say that I liked it. I thought it was very meandering, very average in every way, shape and form. But if you want to see more of Days Gone, then let me know in the comments and maybe I'll do something to get more plays of that. But anyway, let's get on to the first big topic that I really want to talk about. Marvel and Disney have announced, well, Marvel, Disney and Star Wars announced that in the next few years there are going to be 10 Star Wars movies or TV shows and 10 Marvel TV shows. That's quite a lot. Of course, they were very vague on what the next few years means. I took it to mean literally just like a few years. Maybe they mean a decade, maybe they mean more than that, I have no idea. But it's quite a few, and I believe by the end of it, they actually... It's a weird thing having to press all the buttons at once. Okay. But at the end of it, I believe they actually announced at least all 10 of the Star Wars stuff. I'm not sure if they actually got around to announcing all 10 of the Marvel stuff. I'm not going to talk about each and every one of them here, because there's some of them is just like, hey, they've announced that. There's not much to say about it. But they also announced that they're adding a mature section to Disney Plus, at least in European markets. And we all want that mature Disney, don't we? Here in the UK, it means they're going to be adding a section to Disney Plus called Star, which I'm assuming will add things from Hulu and Fox. But what they kind of gloss over is that this is also going to increase the price of Disney Plus. You see what I mean there? They really glossed over that fact. So Disney Plus, I believe, is like £60 a year, and with this new edition of Star, it's going to go up to £80, which puts it the same price range as Amazon Prime. Personally, I'm alright with that, as long as the new content is significant. We'll just have to wait and see, really, though. The amount of Star Wars and Marvel stuff being added, though, is like it makes it a must-have for me, no matter what the price is, really. So I'm not too fussed about the price increase, and it is only like £1 or two, I think.
アダノル・ジョーンズアテイテス・オダドンナイナ・クーナ
Alright, having a problem now. HDR keeps turning itself on and off, so I will... Oh no, it seems to have stopped. No, it's still doing it. Bear with me. Hopefully that's got it sorted. Okay, why would I want to pick that up and throw it? Was this literally just here to say, hey, you can do this in this game? Or is there actually a purpose to throwing it? Do I throw it at the thing? Already I can tell you that I am not loving the controls or the camera, which is a problem I had with Shadow of the Colossus. They also announced a new Alien TV show at this investors meeting. Now obviously this isn't going to be on Disney Plus. I can't remember, is it going to be on Hulu or is it going to be on FX in America? I'm not sure. But either way, I like Alien. I think the idea of an Alien TV show is pretty interesting. Noah Hawley, best known for Legion and Fargo, is doing it. So that's cool. I like Noah Hawley. At least I like his work on Fargo. The thing that's got me wondering is that apparently the Alien TV show is set in the near future on Earth. So, yeah, I'm not sure if I want that, but I do want more Alien. But let's get on to the more juicy news, stuff to do with Star Wars, let's see. Obi-Wan Kenobi, we knew this TV show was in the works for a while. We now know it's actually called Star Wars Obi-Wan Kenobi. And we also know it's set 10 years after Revenge of the Sith. And possibly the biggest news from this is that Hayden Christensen is returning to play not Anakin Skywalker, but Darth Vader. Now, it's worth saying at this point that Hayden Christensen did put on the Darth Vader suit at the end of Revenge of the Sith. That was him in the outfit. So he has technically played Darth Vader before. But it's also the fact that they're saying that they're going to have like some sort of rematch or something. It's like, right, well in Star Wars A New Hope it's made very clear that they haven't seen each other for a long time. In fact, does Darth Vader even know that Obi-Wan's still alive at that point. I think in the comic books it's revealed that, yeah, he kind of has a suspicion or something. But yeah, it's interesting. Now, obviously, I'm not exactly the biggest fan of Hayden Christensen. The best parts of the prequel series were when he didn't speak, but I don't really have a problem with it. It's going to be interesting, to say the least, how they make it work. I'm just glad we're getting Ewan McGregor back as Obi-Wan Kenobi, because he was great.
You ready? Okay.
Yete sonore atasis inek atadu I anesakudu inois au kusnezi otorikuno.
We also know that there are going to be 2 spin-offs to The Mandalorian. Star Wars Ahsoka and Star Wars Rangers of the New Republic. So the Ahsoka one, starring Rosario Dawson, very cool. I think this is a limited series, so I think it is only just 1 series and done. I'm assuming it's going to be focusing on her search for Ezra and Thrawn, but we'll have to wait and see on that. As for the Rangers of the New Republic, this one's interesting. Is it going to star... what's her name? From The Mandalorian? Oh, what the hell's her name? The transphobic one. Gina Carano. That's what she's called. Is she getting her own TV show here? In which case, I hope not. I'm not a fan of her character in Star Wars The Mandalorian. And I'm not a fan of her acting either, to be honest. I don't think she's terrible, but she's not good. I could do without a TV show where she's the main character. But it could also be focusing on the Resistance or New Republic pilots that we've seen in The Mandalorian this season. One of which was played by Dave Filoni, so I doubt he's going to have a huge role in it, but... it's interesting, and it sounds like maybe The Mandalorian, Ahsoka, and Rangers of the New Republic are going to be having like a sort of Marvel Netflix kind of run of things, with the way they did with like Daredevil and Luke Cage, and then they unite in one big TV show, The Defenders. If that's going to happen, it sounds cool. Hopefully it works better than it did on the Netflix show, because The Defenders was not great. But yeah, very interesting, to say the least. And they're all being run by Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau. But I don't know if that means they are actually going to be writing every episode or whatever. I doubt it. There were rumours a while back that Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are basically now spearheading the new, like, Star Wars projects. But that's not all. Yes, if that isn't enough, we are getting more Star Wars stuff with The Acolyte. This is a really interesting one in that it's from the makers of Russian Doll, which is a brilliant show which I thoroughly recommend. Still waiting on that second season though.
Abiadu Torikono, at Sudu Mirazi Okna, Abiadu Tarakianastu, it Nirazi Adam.
But what's really interesting about the Acolyte is that it's set in the new High Republic era of Star Wars that they're developing, which so far is going to be introduced in book form in January, just a few weeks' time. I'm really looking forward to it because it sounds really interesting. So we're getting a TV show. This is the only live action or even animated Star Wars property set in the High Republic era, so it's going to be really interesting to see it in this medium. But yeah, it's probably the one that I'm most curious and interested about. And if all of that wasn't cool enough for you, we are getting a Lando Calrissian TV show. Now, we don't know much about this. They were very coy on who's playing Lando Calrissian. The rumours a while ago was that it was Donald Glover playing the young Lando, which I'm fine with. But the fact that they're not announcing who's playing Lando or what the show's about suggests that maybe they're trying to get some way of getting Billy D. Williams involved. And if he is getting involved, maybe we'll also get Jana from Rise of Skywalker in there. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a case of Billy D. Williams like recounting things from his past. But either way, I'm all for more Lando. And right now in this game, I have no idea what I'm doing. And we're also getting a new animated show called Star Wars The Bad Batch. This is something we knew already. And it's basically a continuation / spin-off of Star Wars The Clone Wars. I don't know if Dave Filoni is heavily involved in this one though, which is the one reason I'm really concerned. If Dave Filoni's not involved with this in a significant way, then I'm a little worried because The Bad Batch, well, firstly, the one Star Wars TV show we have where Dave Filoni wasn't super involved in was Star Wars Resistance, which was not great. But the Bad Batch themselves, the characters, they were introduced in the final season of Star Wars The Clone Wars. I wasn't a huge fan of them. I thought they were somewhat interesting, just the actual episodes they were in didn't really do much. It really felt like they were just introducing them for the sake of introducing them, kind of. But it looks interesting. Looks like it's going to be following up right where the Clone Wars ends, and yeah, we might see the actual fall of the Republic and turn into the new Empire. Did Blue gone to sleep for?
Isai.
I mean, that doesn't look like I'm petting him, it looks like I'm trying to climb into his ear or something. But alright.
イエティサキャスナトゥオイラッタアキャナマックギャタキャッティイエテノサオトゥアトニジイエホオウニアキャイネットオントリコーノアウィズ
But we did get some Star Wars movie news as well, it's not just TV. 2 movies in development, one from Taika Waititi with a logo that looks a lot like one of the Monty Python movie logos, which has me scratching my head a little bit. I'm not really keen on having a Star Wars comedy movie. I know he's only co-writing it, so hopefully the co-writer's there to rein Taika in so that he doesn't go too crazy with it. But we'll see. I do want to see a Taika Waititi Star Wars movie, yeah, especially after his work on Thor Ragnarok. And these 2 Star Wars movies, by the way, are the next 2 movies. The first one, I believe, is releasing in 2023, and it's from Patty Jenkins, the director of Wonder Woman and Wonder Woman 1984. And it's going to be Star Wars Rogue Squadron. I believe set between Return of the Jedi and The Force Awakens. And no, it's not based on the video games. It's a completely original story. Which is interesting. Why put such an effort into naming it after a video game and then have nothing to do with the video game?
アトゥウアニゴーマフオーイマガックオーノイエスイノトゥゴイエハロスオヌスティシアスヤノノトゥキャトネックイエテスマティックイノトゥカリクアウェス
Right, what am I meant to be doing with this mirror? My controller is vibrating every now and then, but I don't know if it's meant to be hitting at something because it's only every now and then. I'm assuming I'm not meant to be doing anything here. Alright, let's go. But yeah, Patty Jenkins directing Star Wars, great. First female Star Wars director in movie form as well. Makes perfect sense, I think. And that's kind of it on the Star Wars front. A lot of really cool, interesting stuff there. And that's all in the next few years. Again, what's the next few years? We don't know. They're being very vague about that. Probably for good reason, because of who knows how long the whole pandemic and COVID stuff's going on. Because I think it was just announced that there's actually a new strain of COVID, just when we get a vaccine for the current strain. So, yeah. That's Star Wars. Really cool, really interesting stuff. But now for Marvel. Falcon and the Winter Soldier, we finally got a trailer for that. And it really does look like a Marvel movie in TV form. Not much else to say about it there. Some cool action scenes, great special effects and CGI.
Atune Kamikak also boy, own Torikono, Awiz, in Isitsdak, Italatu, Ataduia, Yewedo Moy, own Torikono, Yewa.
Okay, this is a little weird. We also got another trailer for WandaVision. This is a TV show that I'm interested in, but I'm also concerned about. Because this doesn't look like a Marvel movie in TV form. Instead, it looks like a TV show. And that's got me concerned. Apparently every episode's going to be like inspired by or based on a different like classic sitcom. So there's I Love Lucy is the first episode, I believe, in black and white, filmed in front of a live studio audience. Then it goes on to much more of like 60s and 70s style sitcom later on. So my concern is how much of it is a gimmick and how much of it is actually going to be telling a great like superhero story. But it's great to have Elizabeth Olsen in there as well as Paul Bettany. But yeah, I'm a little concerned about this. And this is only in what, 2-3 weeks? Or 3-4 weeks? So it's pretty soon.
Atatui, Onobunaka, Oniraka Beta, Ramiez, Otriku, Yetarastezi, Onodak, Ahinoro Kuyuzi.
So far this game, wouldn't say I'm enjoying it. In fact, I'm finding it a little boring, to be honest. Obviously, I'm a little more preoccupied with talking about Marvel and Star Wars, but yeah, gameplay-wise, it's just not really doing much for me at the minute. But the one that I was really surprised by was Loki, because I don't think anyone really knew what to expect from Loki. And it looks like it's going to be really interesting, almost like an X-Files kind of thing, where he's like a time traveler, fixing time travel problems or something, one or the other. But Owen Wilson's in there, looking a lot unlike Owen Wilson. But yeah, it looks really cool. It's going to be doing a lot of timey-wimey stuff, a lot of weird stuff it seems. And Tom Hiddleston's back as Loki, so that's really great. There were rumours a while ago that it was actually going to be focusing on a younger Loki. But that doesn't seem to be the case. I hope that's not the case. Maybe there'll be like a flashback or something in there somewhere, but yeah, it needs to be Tom Hiddleston. And I wouldn't be surprised if this is one of the first real explorations of the multiverse in Marvel. Because we know we're getting the multiverse. They're probably going to tease it in WandaVision a bit, because that's tying into Doctor Strange. It's definitely happening in Spider-Man, in which I'm going to be talking about that in just a bit. So yeah, a lot of really cool stuff coming away in Marvel form. And obviously we're still getting the movies as well in 2021. Although we should have been getting them this year. So Black Widow still coming out in pictures, I believe, in May. I'm doing okay, thanks for asking, Neil. I'm assuming I know who you are. I've got a good idea who you are. But obviously I don't know for sure. We also officially found out that Tatiana Maslany is playing She-Hulk. This is apparently going to be a comedy series. I wasn't expecting that. I wasn't expecting it to be like deadly serious, like, but yeah, interesting that it's going to be comedy based. Could we also know Mark Ruffalo's going to be in there? There've been a lot of teasers about Daredevil recently, played by Charlie Cox. If that happens, then I will be over the moon, because I think he was brilliant as Daredevil. Yes, you are the Neil that I thought you were. Streaming is okay. I've been doing this for a few weeks now. Still trying to get the hang of it. I am just streaming from my PS5 rather than a computer. I don't have a fancy pants computer like that capable of doing that, but one day maybe. But the Marvel news does not end, because we also found out Kate Bishop is officially coming to Hawkeye. It's kind of the worst kept secret at this point, because we all knew Haley Steinfeld was playing that, but they've officially announced it. Brilliant casting, she looks great in the costume. Really looking forward to that show. It looks like they're adapting one of the main Hawkeye comic books. And yeah, Hawkeye's underrated, I'm just going to put that out there right now. But yeah, I just love Haley Steinfeld, so great to see her in Marvel. There's also going to be a Secret Invasion TV show starring Samuel L. Jackson and Ben Mendelsohn. This is probably the biggest, but secretly the biggest news that come out of this, because Secret Invasion is a huge storyline and they're doing it in TV form. So you have to imagine this is going to be the thing that unites everything that they're doing. Neil asks, who would you say your top 5 Marvel characters are? So if you're just talking the MCU, the movies, I think Iron Man has to be up there. I do like Samuel L. Jackson's Nick Fury. Spider-Man, obviously. Spider-Man's one of my favourites overall, so there's 3 of them for you. If you want to include those TV shows, which are kind of, sort of, but also sort of not MCU, then Daredevil and Punisher. Big Punisher fan, but yeah, is he in the MCU? Kind of, sort of not. That's 5, isn't it? Yeah. Those are my top 5, whether you want to consider them all or not.
Ia darasebo yakudu yuri. Yanozu yarote. Aoyuku. Ya, akastiata.
Neil asks, any news on if they're bringing a new season of The Punisher out? Sorry to say, but no, they're not. The show was cancelled by Netflix.
Suiko.
Disney owns the rights to Marvel, and if we do see a new Punisher, it's going to be on Disney Plus or Hulu or something, but I wouldn't hold you out hopes for that. We might see John Bernthal back as the Punisher in some form or another, but it's not going to be that TV show.
Aratizi, Otetara Lastuzi, Arakastaka, Inokia, Ataduro Kutuzi, Yanamut Katunek, Aokuzi.
Nezo. Yaneri yate rati. Agusui.
Aonari, Aututu, Keononita, Agokuzi, Adutuku no Otase.
I wish the game would stop telling me to equip and unequip a mirror. Neil asked, do I think a film franchise of The Punisher would do well in comparison to a series? I think to do The Punisher in a film form is tough. We've had, what, 3 Punisher movies now? And none of them were great. I think the TV show is far better than any of the movies. But the TV show version of The Punisher wasn't quite the Punisher of the comic books. It's tough, because you have got to be R-rated to do The Punisher. And we're not going to get an R-rated Disney Punisher movie. I don't think. Unless they decide to do a Deadpool movie, and that's a success. There's a lot of things right now that we just don't know. But yeah, I think Punisher works better in TV form. But whether we'll get a movie or a TV show from him, I don't know. I will say this, that we are getting a Blade movie at some point in the future. And there are talks of a Deadpool movie from Disney. So, not going to rule it out, but I think it does depend on them films doing well. And if, of course, they decide to go the full hard R rating with them or not. Which they should, to do them right. After seeing that pillar fall down twice, I'm not sure if I would risk going down here, but oh well, that's video games for you. But let's get on to Spider-Man. Alfred Molina is returning as Doc Ock in the new Spider-Man movie, which is really, really interesting because we're basically getting a live action Into the Spider-Verse movie now, and that's super cool. I don't think it's actually been confirmed yet, but it's strongly rumored that Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire are returning in this movie too. So this is really going to open up a bunch of possibilities for Marvel and Sony, and just stretch out the Marvel universe in new, imaginative ways. It's worth also pointing out that Alfred Molina playing Doc Ock, this is not going to be the Doc Ock from Spider-Man 2, because, spoilers, unless there's some sort of timey-wimey stuff going on here, he dies. Hate to break it to you. And honestly, I just want to see Gwen Stacy return, as long as she's played by Emma Stone. And that's one of the rumours there as well. Love Emma Stone. Think she would have really done a good job as Spider-Gwen. But again, is this going to be the version from The Amazing Spider-Man? Probably not. It's probably from a different universe altogether, if she is in there. Where the hell is this guy? Ah. Yeah, that is a problem. Neil seems happy at the idea of Tobey Maguire returning. I don't think it's been 100% confirmed, but it might as well be at this point. Personally, I hate him as Spider-Man. I think he is by far the worst Spider-Man. Totally wrong for the role. And I think a lot of people look back on those movies with nostalgia and rose-tinted glasses. What I'll say is, go back and watch those movies now with a real critical eye, and you might be surprised. But maybe not. If you still like them, good on you. But I am not a fan. Right, I have no idea what I'm supposed to be doing now. I'm assuming I've got to get him out of this area. But how do I go about doing that? Neil asks if I'm a fan of Venom. I am not. No, I thought that film was bad as well. Venom without Spider-Man just does not make sense. And they really tried to turn Tom Hardy's Venom into something the character shouldn't be. They tried to make him too much of a good guy superhero, and he's not supposed to be that. He's supposed to be at most a anti-hero. I'm not huge on Venom in the comic books either, so I don't particularly care about the character one way or another. But yeah, not a fan of the movie, not a fan of them doing a Venom without Spider-Man. It just doesn't make sense. Have I gone the wrong way somewhere? I will say this about the Venom stuff. I think this whole multiverse thing that they're doing is probably Sony rather than Marvel. I think this is Sony's way of trying to bridge the gap between their Spider-Man movies and Marvel's Spider-Man movies. Because at the end of the day, Marvel does not own Spider-Man. Sony does. But it's also a case of Sony arguably has only ever had one good standalone Spider-Man movie, and that was Into the Spider-Verse. Right, I'm completely lost in this game at the minute as well. No idea what I'm supposed to be doing, no idea how to get by this bit. See, I can see something under there. Oh. Oh. Alright. I didn't know that was a possibility. I was up here before and he didn't do that. I believe I've gone through all of the big Marvel news that the Disney's investors now. There's just two more things. Armor Wars, starring Don Cheadle, coming back as War Machine. Cool. There's also, they're doing Ironheart TV show now, which is basically the female Iron Man, I believe. Don't know too much about her, but that's cool. And then they've officially announced a Fantastic Four movie. A Marvel Fantastic Four movie from the director John Watts, who done the recent Spider-Man movies. So what does that mean for the future of Spider-Man? I don't know. Is he going to be too busy doing Fantastic Four? But yeah, it's nice to have Fantastic Four back home where it belongs. No X-Men announcement though. I think maybe the multiverse is actually going to introduce the X-Men in some form or another. I think it has to, because there's been no mention of mutants in the MCU so far. It'll be a little weird if all of a sudden they're like, oh hey, we've got mutants in this galaxy. Yeah, we just haven't mentioned them before. They're not going to do that. But hey, if they can somehow introduce Blade and vampires into the MCU, they can do mutants. And again, I think all this is going to happen with the multiverse, with Doctor Strange and Spider-Man. Neil asks, what direction do I think they'll take with the next X-Men movie, especially after Logan? Well, again, Disney now owns X-Men again. That X-Men franchise with Hugh Jackman is done and dusted. There's not going to be any more of them movies. So the next X-Men movie is going to be a reboot of sorts. I think it will be much better with Disney controlling it. It's going to be in the MCU. Again, I don't know how exactly. I think it will be something to do with the multiverse. I think that's why they've announced a Fantastic Four film but not an X-Men movie, because they have to introduce the multiverse first to do the X-Men. But yeah, whole new cast. I wouldn't be surprised if they completely reconfigure things, come up with new out there ideas, if they change, like, I don't know, the genders and sex of certain characters or the ethnicity of certain characters. I think they're going to do something really different to stand apart from the past X-Men movies. But yeah, I don't think we're not going to get an R-rated X-Men movie, I don't think. Unless you count Deadpool as an X-Men, which you kind of shouldn't. Go out my way to get all them barrels from him, and then the idiot doesn't even want them. So that was everything at the Disney Plus Investors Call last week. Really cool stuff, lots of interesting bits and bobs there. 10 Marvel TV shows, 10 more Star Wars TV shows, all coming in the next few years. Which means Disney Plus is a must-have for me and probably a lot of other people. But again, here in the UK, they subtly avoided saying this too much, but the price of Disney Plus will be going up. But personally, I think it'll be worth it, so long as things like the pandemic don't get in the way and don't limit how much they can do. But really inconvenient for people like myself who wanted to see the Disney Investor Call and who wanted to watch the Game Awards. The Game Awards was on at the exact same time as the Disney Investor Call, which were both on in the middle of the night here in the UK anyway, but not much to say about the Game Awards. The Last of Us Part 2 won most of the stuff, which is kind of predictable. Really happy that Laura Bailey won for acting, especially after all the backlash she got for that role. Not going to go into too much detail about The Last of Us Part 2, don't have to worry about spoilers. The one big thing I want to talk about is Mass Effect. So they announced that Mass Effect will return, and it looks like it's going to be Mass Effect 4. Huge Mass Effect fan. This is the one moment where I was like off my seat cheering in a way, because Mass Effect Andromeda was disappointing. I don't think it was bad. It's certainly not as bad as some people made it out to be, but it's not anywhere near as good as any of the previous Mass Effect games. So, yeah, Mass Effect, it looks like it's going to be Mass Effect 4, or the equivalent of Mass Effect 4. It looks like we're going to be playing as Liara T'Soni, which is brilliant. Always wanted to play as an alien in the Mass Effect games. The closest we got to that, though, was the multiplayer modes, but it's not quite the same thing. Right, where do I go from here? But yeah, it also looks like it's going to be about the search for Commander Shepard. What happened to him at the end of Mass Effect 3? Are they going to canonically pick a canonical ending or something? I hope so. It actually reminds me a bit of the Star Trek movie, Star Trek 3, the search for Spock. Where the hell's he gone? Well, is he on the other end? Was I supposed to be on top of him when he jumped over there? Because that's a bit annoying. I didn't know he was going to jump over. Come on, get back over here. Oh, here we go. I mean, they could have really telegraphed that he was going to jump a bit better there. It took ages from me getting on his back to him then jumping. Yeah, that's a bit quicker. But yeah, Mass Effect 4, I'm all for it. Love the announcement. Problem is, that game's a while away. We're talking, I would say, at least 5 years. Yeah, just off the top of my head. Because they are working on Dragon Age, and that is going to be their next game. Am I supposed to be dragging this on or off? Oh. So yeah, Mass Effect's a while away, so it's interesting that they've announced it now. Because we have had instances where, hey, just recently games came out that was announced 7 years ago. And maybe the hype didn't quite live up to it. I don't know. I'm of course talking about Cyberpunk 2077. Which, by the way, I am loving. Playing it on the Xbox Series X, so I'm not getting all the glitches and problems that most gamers are getting. But I do want to get it on a top of the range PC to really compare it. And that's what I've been saving up a lot of my money for in the recent year. But yeah, that's kind of all I want to talk about with the Game Awards. There were a bunch of other announcements and of course a bunch of other awards, but Last of Us won most of them, and Mass Effect was the big, like, one last thing announcement that they had to reveal. It was a good show, actually. I would say one of the better Game Award presentations because they did have a good balance between awards and announcements. The last thing I want to talk about today, though, is True Blood. Remember that show from the past? You know, the one where the first 2 seasons were pretty good, and then it just collapsed after that, to the point where the last 2 seasons were near unwatchable? Yeah, well, guess what? It's coming back. Don't worry, different show this time, different makers. It's a reboot. What that means exactly is anyone's guess at this point. Are they actually just starting from scratch, or are they doing something totally radical and different with it? Who knows? But we're getting more True Blood, hopefully with a new cast, new direction, new style. It is still on HBO. So the question at this point is just how different is it going to be? But yeah, I'm kind of interested in that, because like I said, I did like True Blood for 3 seasons. Yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. It's from the showrunner of Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, a show which I like. And there's actually a lot of True Blood vibes in Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. Although Chilling Adventures of Sabrina is like very like young adult kind of thing, whereas True Blood, at least on the HBO version, was very adult, just plain up adult. A lot of sex and nudity, lots of bad language. So it'll be interesting to see what they go for with this reboot. Right, again, I don't have a clue what I'm doing. Gotta be honest, after playing, what, is it an hour now that I've played this game? Let's find out. Yeah, I've been broadcasting for just over an hour now. I'm finding this game incredibly boring. And it's very unclear what I'm supposed to be doing at certain points. So I can safely say that after this stream, I will not be playing this game again. Might go back to Days Gone. Neil says it seems like an old sort of Tomb Raider style game. I can totally see what you mean by that. At least in the visual sense and the fact that I am in like tombs and such. But yeah, not as much action as a Tomb Raider game, and the puzzles are more obtuse, I would say, in this game. I did throw something off the side of the cliff there and I have no idea why. Was I supposed to do something with that first? I don't know. Anyway, thank you for watching and thanks for getting involved, Neil. I am going to end this stream here, and I'm going to say that I won't be doing my weekly stream next week because scheduling stuff is getting in the way. I might do an irregular time stream in the afternoon at some point, but I haven't decided yet. It just depends on what mood I'm in. As always, if you aren't watching live on Twitch, you can catch the VOD on my YouTube channel in just a couple of days' time. So probably by the end of this week. But if you're already watching on YouTube, that means it's already up. If you are on YouTube, you can subscribe to my channel there to be notified when I post all my content. I post content every Saturday, midday GMT. And of course you can go over to Twitter and Instagram and follow me at _GrantBurton, where you will find all of my up-to-date thoughts and opinions, and you will find out when I am live. You can also follow me on Twitch, of course, that will help. Yep, thanks for watching, Neil, and until next time, thanks for watching, everyone. Bye.